bit.
Fortunately, we had a international break, so gave us a little extra break. But now we are back covering the last 2 weeks of the Premier League. So we had game week 11, game week 12, and then we're going to go through our player of the week, stinker of the week for both. And then we're going to list our top 5 players in the world at this current moment before we predict what's going to happen in Premier League game week 13. So getting straight into it, we had Fulham versus Man United as the first fixture of game week 11. Fulham can't score goals, that's for sure. They're one of the worst scoring teams in the league last year. They got rid of their top goal scorer who signed Raul Jimenez from Wolves, who couldn't score at Wolves. So they really struggle scoring. And then Man United get their classic plus 3 points as usual from a team who just struggles at everything. And then
Classic 1-0 win.
Classic 1-0.
Just barely scraping it.
Yeah.
Next game was Brentford versus West Ham. 3-2 win for Brentford. No Alvarez or Paqueta for West Ham in this game. I think because of injury for Alvarez and yellows for Paqueta. But Kudus scored probably the goal of the year so far. One of the best bicycle kicks I've seen. And Brentford they dominated possession in the first half, but West Ham just kind of took their chances a little bit more in the first half. Went into half at 2-1. West Ham was up. And then game was a lot more even in the second half. But West Ham just started to become sloppy on defense, and it was Brentford's turn to take their chances. Pretty good win for Brentford, though. Pretty good win for Brentford.
Well done, Brentford. Then we had Crystal Palace traveling to Turf Moor, take on Burnley. Ended up coming home with a 2-0 win, even though Burnley kind of dominated them on possession and shots. 68% possession, 17 shots for Burnley. That's kind of promising, but not if you can't put one away from it. And then basically that first goal from Crystal that just kind of set the tone for the game. Jordan Ayew, average Premier League player, makes that German center back on Burnley, Jordan Bayer, look like a Sunday leaguer, and then just opens up scoring, and it's tough to it was going to be tough to begin with, but super tough from starting 1-0 down. So Crystal put it away 2-0.
Then we had Everton versus Brighton, 1-1 draw. Really, really precious point for Everton, especially with their current circumstances, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But Mikolenko gets a few deflections to go his way to put Everton up early, and then they kind of just hung on to the game. Brighton completely dominated possession in the first half, though, and really the whole game. They pretty much dominated the ball. Lewis Dunk had a goal disallowed in the 20th minute. And Everton's defense did pretty well the whole game, but just unlucky on Ashley Young's own goal. Precious point, though. You'd love to have all three as Everton, but definitely take the point against a good Brighton team.
Definitely. Then you had Bournemouth going over to the Etihad to just come in and get beat up by Man City for 90 minutes. 6-1. I don't know if anybody predicted anything different than 6-1, but it was the Jeremy Doku show. Shout out to Jeremy Doku. 1 goal, 5 assists, and a 6-goal win.
Yeah. Then we had Sheffield United versus Wolves. 2-1 win for Sheffield. They get their first win on the year. 2 late goals. Wolves had the bulk of the possession and chances in the first half. Just couldn't find the back of the net. Sheffield came out very aggressive in the second half. Fortunate deflection. That Cam Archer absolutely smashes home from outside of the box. Well, beautiful, beautiful strike. And then Wolves get an unlucky deflection, leading to a goal to equalize. And then in pretty much the last minute of extra time, Fabio Silva fouls a Sheffield player in the box, leading to a game-winning PK for Sheffield.
Not an ideal start to life without Pedro Neto.
Yeah, not at all. And then we had the Newcastle versus Arsenal game. pretty even in the first half with both teams getting a few decent chances. Could really see the fatigue on the Newcastle players from the Dortmund game midweek. Kai Havertz gets himself and 3 Newcastle players booked with yellow cards in the first half because he's just a little shit. Terrible tackle by him, by the way. Dan Burn also went off injured at halftime, so you can just add that to the tally of players going off for Newcastle. I think he'll be back after the turn of the new year. Pretty even second half with Arsenal controlling most of the possession. And then we just kind of sneaked a goal, Gordon's goal, or goal. Was it Gordon's goal? Yeah, it was Gordon's goal. Past 3 VAR checks, it looked like it almost went out of bounds on Willock, and then he passed it back in. Um, there was a check for a foul on Joel Linton on Saliba, and then it was an offsides. It passed all 3 checks, so a little bit controversial. I think Arsenal released a statement on it, but nonetheless, I will take the 1-0 win. Also, Jacob Murphy re-dislocated his shoulder in this game, so that's 2 players that went down for a long term.
Wow. And yet Aston Villa traveling over to Nottingham, not very far. I think they're pretty close to each other. But yeah, going over and dominating Nottingham all to just get beat 2-0. Classic Villa. Nottingham's 2 goals were Ola Aina from Nigeria and Orel Mangala from Belgium. Of course, Belgium.
Wow.
Nottingham Forest's last 2 Premier League wins, Villa and Chelsea.
Wow. Pretty impressive right there. We'll move to Luton Town versus Liverpool. It was a 1-1 draw. Massive point for Luton at home versus Liverpool. Liverpool controlled the possession really the whole game, but Luton was brilliant at the back most of the game. Liverpool just couldn't find the back of the net with all those players back there. Luton hit a counterattack perfectly off the Liverpool corner. Great ball from Kabore to Chong to get the go-ahead goal. And then Diaz subs on late, scores a beautiful header to secure a point for Liverpool. Big moment for him. His dad hadn't yet been freed in Colombia, but since then his dad has been released. So massive moment for him.
For the Diaz family. Then we had Chelsea going to 3-point lane and coming back with 3 points as pretty much as always. It's huge for our form, confidence, and momentum.
Yes.
Nicholas Jackson got some stat padding in, huge. But it comes with a good bit of guilt and regret, just ending right there a special Tottenham season, which I didn't mind seeing. So
I think that was
you pay a price.
I think that was Nicholas Jackson's first senior hat trick for him. So probably the worst one that I've ever seen, but nonetheless, kudos to him.
One of the least impressive hat tricks ever.
Probably could have had 6 if we're being honest, but
yeah, should have had about 5 or 6.
Alrighty, let's move on to week 12. We're gonna start with the first game, Wolves versus Tottenham. 2-1 win for Wolves, man. Life without Van de Ven and Madison gets out to a very, very poor start for Tottenham. Came out extremely early, and Kulusevski does great to free up Pedro Porro, plays a great ball into Johnson to break the deadlock early on. I thought that Spurs looked, I mean, obviously they looked really good to start the game, but just kind of tailed off towards the end. And then Wolves in extra time, man, just killer. Absolutely killer.
Yeah, these are 2 teams that are going to have to get adjusted to a completely different life than they've had for the first 11 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and it was Davies and Dyer as the center back duo, which they for sure haven't played a game together this year. And then you also throw in Højbjerg in the midfield for Madison. So it was a very different look from Spurs for this game.
Yeah, Tottenham hasn't had to pair those 2 at center back together in a long time since, Romero's been there all last year. They ideally they never want to see them 2 together at the same, but they're going to have to a little bit now. Everything sucks for Tottenham right now. And then Wolves obviously losing a top 10 player in the Premier League for sure in Pedro Neto before he went down.
Yeah.
For Tottenham, it's like you could have been fighting for the title and for sure getting yourself into Champions League next year,
Yeah.
but you can kind of just throw it in the wind and just get whatever you can, I guess, from the rest of this season. You're
I,
not going to end up the same as you were, but for Wolves, it's every point does matter. So this
yeah.
is
Yeah.
getting it
And
where you can is a little bit more important for Wolves,
I
and
think
they did
Wolves
good.
were still doing a pretty good job of creating the chances, but I think it was glaring that Pedro Neto wasn't there. The quality on the end of the finish, the last ball sometimes. I think they were really, really missing him.
Yeah,
But 87th minute, man, let me find his name here. Sarabia, Pablo Sarabia. Pablo Sarabia subs on 87th minute, and in 10 minutes of play, he gets a goal, a beautiful goal, a beautiful, beautiful goal. Cunha plays a cross into him, short little cross, controls it in the air, and then volleys it perfectly um, to get him level, and then has a great ball into Mario Lamina to uh, to put him ahead late.
yeah,
Great win for them, much needed, especially with Pedro Neto out now. Um, Goals and wins, I think, are going to be very hard to come by.
yeah,
I think it was just I think Spurs dominated the first half possession wise, but I mean Jose Sa was really really good this game, and I think you'll kind of start to see the lack of creativity, especially with Madison gone. Because I mean he can drop deep and get the ball and then progress it for them if he needs to, or he can just be up there and really make everything happen. So I
yeah.
think really in this game it was glaring.
They're gonna have to take their chances. They're gonna have to be one of the best teams in the league at taking their chances if they want anything, because they went from having the most chances created in the league just effortlessly for 90 minutes every game to now maybe they'll only have two or three quality chances a game, like like the rest of us. So they're
Yeah.
gonna have to start finishing.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move on to the Arsenal versus Burnley game. 3-1 win for Arsenal. Still no Odegaard for Arsenal. I think he's still out with a knock. Um, Started the game pretty slow. Um, Trafford had a really, really good save on Saka in about the 20th minute. Um, but I mean, it was pretty much all Arsenal in the first half. Right before half, Zinchenko had a great cross to Saka, who heads the ball over to Trossard, who just barely nicks it in to make it 1-0 before half. I think it could have been a different game if Burnley could have gotten into half at 0-0, but I mean, they did well for the first 45 to keep them out, but you knew at some point it was going to come.
Yeah.
Um, and
Somehow
then,
somehow like a somehow like about Arsenal is usually when you see players as high profile as the guys they have and as good a talent as the guys they have, credit to Saka. Most of them don't ever get dirty or go roll their sleeves up or try to get physical or anything like that. They just let their talent pay them and stay safe from all the physicality. But Saka, that being said, Saka didn't have to go up and win that
mm,
header, not knowing if it was going to result in anything, but just the effort and the determination to do something with a ball that was in front of him resulted in a goal, paid off for him. I like that. I like Arsenal a lot for that reason,
mm,
and I think the difference in effort shows in the table before too long.
yeah. Um, Burnley came out pretty hot in the second half, though. 54th minute, Koleosha bullies Tomiyasu down the end line and plays the ball back in. I think it bounced around a little bit, so it wasn't an assist for him. But Brownhill smashes it home. I think it took a deflection on the shot as well. But nonetheless, great for them. That levels the game in the 54th minute, but Arsenal goes right back down the field, and Zinchenko hits a or no, okay, this was the Saliba goal. Um,
I think it was just a corner.
yeah, I think it was just a corner. Yeah, really. Oh, poor defense on that was the one where Saliba just gets right in front of
Stepped in front of the
Trafford, bullies
keeper.
him. Yeah, that's that's unacceptable. I mean, you can't let him get that positioning and then go up and dunk on you.
Yeah.
I thought that was just terrible. And then the third goal, Zinchenko just hits a Paolo Di Canio-esque shot off of a deflection on a corner to make it 3-1. One of the best, I mean, beautiful, beautiful goal. Um, to adjust his body in the air like that, beautiful strike.
Yeah. Just a standing scissor lick to go up 2 on Burnley. Classic Zinchenko. Sauce.
Zinchenko gets so up for those games.
Oh, yeah.
God, he's just so hyped up in the locker room before Burnley.
Yeah. Watching that goal that broke the deadlock, the Saliba goal off the corner, it's I mean, it is it at first glance it shows no fight to get to the ball from the keeper, but it's also a little bit clever the tactic. I don't know if I've seen that before because Saliba didn't spend 10 seconds sitting in front of the keeper. He was only there for about a second or
Did he
two
go into the
before
goal and
he
around
went
him?
into the goal
Yeah,
where nobody was standing and just planted himself right there on the keeper. And by the time
yeah.
the keeper realizes maybe I should position myself better, the
It's too
ball
late.
was already right into Saliba.
Yeah. Who was
So it's
marking Saliba though? Like that's just
somebody on the back post. He Saliba was
yeah,
way in the back and he just went through the front, or got right in front of the keeper and just stood there. So if you can
damn
place
good
it
corner.
right on your guy front post, that's a pretty clever little tactic on a corner. But just one more thing I want to touch on for this Arsenal is Leandro Trossard uh, is such a huge difference. He signed in January. It's almost been a year, but he's just been such a huge difference. I
He
want to say he
doesn't
played
start a lot either.
doesn't start a lot either, but he plays almost every game.
Hmm.
I think he started this game, and I think he started at striker.
I think he
So
did.
just a crazy puzzle piece for them that
Yeah,
works wherever they put him.
playing great
Uh,
for Belgium too.
yeah, I love people like that. They just go in at a position that they're not completely comfortable in and still give whatever they can.
Yeah,
I like Trossard. I like
hmm,
a lot of Arsenal's guys for that.
damn good player. Um, all right, let's move to Crystal Palace versus Everton. We got a 3-2 win for Everton. Massive, massive, massive 3 points. Um, they come out extremely hot early on. Mikolenko gets a goal inside the first minute. He does great to win a ball back, and then I think he had a shot, wins the ball back, goes out. Harrison crosses it back into him. Great header to get him on the board early. Um, and then Palace go right back down the field, and Eze dribbles two dudes, gets into the box, and draws a PK. Um, and absolutely buries it. Cool as you like. Pickford didn't even move on the PK. So really, really hot start to this game. What do you think?
He had pretty swaggy celebration at and
Hmm.
on the PK too. He just did the stutter step run up, waited a half second, passed it calmly right
Hmm.
to the keeper's left, and didn't move an inch after that. He knew he was going in. Just stood there, looked at the camera, did something like that.
I think he do like a cross up or
Yeah,
something.
cross.
Yeah,
Good God fearing man
yeah.
that
Oh, he's
Eze.
praying hard after that goal.
Yeah, but I mean, that Crystal Palace didn't look bad. I didn't think
Hmm.
I mean, they had their usual, not usual, but when you play Everton, you have 2/3 of the ball,
Yeah.
and they're getting loose on it, getting creative with it. Both teams played their games. Everton played their game a little bit better than Crystal Palace played their game,
Hmm.
as well as that Doucouré guy. He's quality. He
He's
looked
just there, man.
he
He's
looked
always.
about it.
Hmm.
He looked on it. All the passes were on right timing, right placement. Um, good
Second goal
goal.
for was him, but I mean it was the strike for Mikolenko off the post was beautiful. Fell
Yeah,
right to do Corey, easy finish, to get them back up.
yeah,
I think just out of half, and then a little bit later in the game, 73rd minute, Idrissa Gay plays, or no, I'm sorry, wrong. Lerma hits a high arcing header into the box after a deflection on a cross. I mean, he hit like this was from outside the box. It landed in six, or landed right outside the six, landed perfectly on Odson Edward, who just tapped it in. Um, I don't know if I don't I think it was Tarkowski was the defender. I don't know if Pickford called him off of it or what happened, but he just stopped playing it, and Edouard just went right past him, scored it, to make it 2-2, and then, the late goal from Idrissa Gueye was just, oh, beautiful, man. Um, Played a great one too with Doucouré. It was a little bit delayed on the 1-2, but freed himself up perfectly and then slots it past the keeper to the right side. Um,
Yeah.
Really, really good goal for him. I think that's his first goal since he's re-signed with Everton since going to PSG. So,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
for him, man. Good for him.
Last year or two, it's easy to group Everton in with just a very bottom of the barrel Premier League team somehow staying up. But they're used to being up there with the
Yeah.
West Hams and
Mhm.
Brightons and
But
even
they've gotten
maybe a
some
class
good
above Crystal
results.
Palace. I mean, they've yeah,
They've gotten some
lately they've
good
been
results this year,
lately
like,
they've been
very
on a roll.
surprising.
Yeah, lately they've
Especially
been
with, we're gonna talk about it later, the 10-point deduction that they just got for the financial fair play stuff. I mean, with how many points they've got, that drops them to second to last in the league, which honestly, like, you'd think with a 10-point deduction, you drop to dead bottom.
yeah, and
But
that shows how good they've been for the past
yeah,
7 games. Because after the
mhm.
first 5, I think they were in the relegation zone. At some point, they were I think 18th.
I don't think that they had scored a goal in, like, the first 4 or 5 games. I don't
Yeah,
think they had even scored a goal.
yeah.
And
To
now
be
I mean, they're getting some damn good results out here. I mean, a Palace team that's,
to
probably
be
gonna finish higher
18th.
than them on the table, for sure.
Yeah, to be 18th after 5 games and then to be 19th after 12, having gotten 10 of those points taken away from you, just shows how impressive they've been in the last 7 games.
Yeah,
But,
I think they might be able to keep it together and, they might see themselves stay up.
I think they should. They're a massive club.
I
They should be a Premier League staple.
Yeah, their quality is better than 3
Traditionally,
teams in the Premier League, for
yeah,
sure.
traditionally they're a top 10 Premier League team easily. They're
Mhm.
in that 7, 8, 6, 7, 8 range. But these two teams, the last 18 meetings, Crystal Palace has only won one of them. That was in 2011, still under Roy Hodgson. So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
Well, I
Everton's
guess
got
that
their
just shows you how everything's kinda fallen from well, I mean, they beat them, but,
yeah.
um, yeah. I thought it was still a good game from Crystal Palace. I thought, they dominated possession. They just couldn't create enough meaningful chances, and Everton does a damn good job of creating some good chances with the little possession that they have. Alrighty, let's move on to the Man United versus Luton Town game. Another 1-0 win for Man United.
Classic Man
Um,
U +3.
they cannot keep getting away with this shit. They are the most informed team in the Premier League in the last 5 games. I think they've won all fucking 5.
They're
Whoop de
4
doo.
of
You
5,
just
which is
wouldn't know.
better than anybody else in the Premier League.
4 or 5? Okay, yeah, they're
Yeah.
4 or 5 in the last 5, which is just, you know, even though they're in crisis mode, they're the best. They're the most informed team. But they actually came out looking pretty good. I thought Hoyland had a chance early from Rashford pass that you got to be putting those away. He kicked it right into the goalkeeper's face. Still no Premier League goal, but he is, I think, leading the Champions League. I don't know how. I'm pretty sure he's leading the Champions League. Gaskin's been pretty adamant on that one.
Yeah.
5 goals in the Champions League, but he just can't buy a goal against a Luton Town team. It's crazy, man. Um, yeah, United had a good bit of chances in the first half, but just tame efforts. Um, I probably 10 times in this game they kicked the ball just 5 yards over the crossbar.
Yeah.
Um,
And then a couple times right at the keeper.
yes, yeah, there was one. Oh man, I have a note in here, and it was Rashford played a ball to McTominay. Or no, 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 no. Rash had a one-on-one with the keeper in the 69th minute, and this is a goal. It's the left side of the box. It's not even that far. This is if you lined this up last year, 100%, 10 times out of 10, it's a goal, and he kicks it right at him, kicks it square into his chest.
Yeah.
Um, it was just it was shocking to me. I just he's still so quality, but he's just far off. He's just off it. He's
He's
miles
been
off it.
he's been shocking this season.
Mhm. Um, what
As a
did I,
Man
okay.
United fan, I still just note on that Hoyland. I still wouldn't panic on Hoyland. He's
No,
gonna
no,
come.
no, no.
He's
Yeah, no. He's
he.
definitely quality. It's just
I couldn't imagine not having him. I mean, they got him. I don't know if they had him at the very very first game of the year this year.
I think he was still out.
Yeah, but I if I was them, I couldn't imagine not having him. Even with
Yeah.
his 0 goals in this competition,
I
he
think
makes
once
all
he
the
gets
difference.
one, they're just gonna they'll start to come.
I
They'll
think
start to
they
come, no
yeah,
doubt. I mean, he's a damn good player. He's usually in the right place at the right time. It's just getting everything else to click.
a lot of bad luck and then yeah,
Hoyland,
not
he was close again to bagging one on a header, but he put it just wide. I think it was like the 49th minute, and
yeah,
then
just wide.
Rashford did great. Yeah, I think Rashford was playing on the right side this
Yeah,
game, so a
he
little
was
bit
on
of a
the right.
switch up, but did great to play a ball into McTominay. They got deflected and went perfectly to Victor Lindelof, who slotted it home to make it 1-0 for Man United. It's never pretty for this team, but here we are.
Man, maybe once it starts coming, maybe then we'll see some pretty goals too.
And that's kind of the
Gotta
scary
see.
part about it, I guess, is that they've played this shit and they're still in the mix. They're still
Yeah,
so in the mix, it's crazy.
they're still like what are they sixth in the
Yeah, and
league?
they haven't even figured out like a style of play. Like
Sixth.
they're playing like shit, and they're still six in the league. So if
Yeah,
they do decide to turn it on at some point, man, it could get scary. It really could. Do I think that they will decide to turn it on at some point? I just I can't see it.
I can't see it
I
at
can't see it
all.
right now, at least. But who knows, man? Maybe they get out of the Champions League, and they get some fitness going, get all those dudes healthy. Maybe they go on a little run. Who knows?
They need a real winger, and they need Hoyland to pick up, and then I think they'll be legit.
Yeah. For Luton though, they really didn't have many chances in this game. Onana had to make a pretty good save in the 39th off a Carlton Morris header. Um, they dominated really all first half, but did pretty well to get into halftime at 0-0. Um, and it was a pretty unlucky deflection that got the Lindelof goal. So they were in the game the whole time. So kudos to them, especially being away from home, playing at Old Trafford. Um, but yeah, you never thought that they were going to win at Old Trafford. But damn close though. They were in the game the whole time.
What was the next game? What happened next?
Shut up, man. Alrighty, let's move on to Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Um, I'm a sad man. Uh, 2-0 win for Bournemouth. I think that if you've been watching any Newcastle ball this year, I think you could kind of see that this was coming. Um, Lewis Hall and Lewis Miley make their first starts for Newcastle. I think Lewis Miley is only about 18 years old. Lewis Hall, obviously on loan from Chelsea. I think he's maybe 19, I want to say. So two really young dudes coming in, getting their first starts for the club. Um, Kind of shows you where we're at with injuries and fatigue. We had a team full of I think it was 12 players going into this game that were injured. And we didn't have Bruno because of yellow cards. I don't know if we'll have him against Chelsea either because of yellow cards. But yeah, from the first whistle, we just were on the back foot the entire game. I think you could tell that everybody was fatigued, especially the dudes that have been playing. I mean, especially the back line, extremely fatigued. They were just kind of running right past us. Which there was a little bit of a thing after the game with Trippier and a fan, and him getting mad at the fan because he said that they weren't trying. And I'm not saying that they weren't trying at all. I believe that they were giving it everything that they had, but I don't think they had much to give. This team's just not used to playing this many games outside of trips. And I think that's really starting to show with injuries, fatigue, fitness. We just don't have enough dudes available. We don't have enough good dudes that would usually be starting available. Um, and the ones that we do have are extremely fucking tired. So I think you could see that the whole game. Longstaff and Lascelles both had decent chances but couldn't convert. Um, and Nick Pope had a fantastic game this game. It could have easily, easily been 5 goals. We looked like complete dog shit. I'm not kidding. It literally could have been 5 goals. That Nick Pope had some really, really good saves. He had 8 saves on the day. Um, but yeah, don't want to take away anything from this Bournemouth team. Um, they were on it. They came to play from the first whistle. Um, they had 3 really good chances inside 10 minutes, and then Dominic Solanke put on a great performance, player of the week esque performance. So kudos to him.
Yeah. Not much for me here. Solanke we touched on last episode as one of their couple actual Premier League level guys, and he does it again, scoring a couple real goals versus a real Premier League competitive team. Although they are probably the most beat up, for
Yeah,
sure, the most beat up in the league, which
it
is
might be in the world, to be honest.
probably maybe the world.
I think Miggy Almiron. I don't know if he went down in this game or the Arsenal game. I think it was this game. He went down maybe a little bit early, and then Callum Wilson is also going to be out until the new year. So we might get Isak back against Chelsea, but if not, we will be missing 14 players. So
It's crazy to have
um
this be this uh, clear of everybody in the injury race in such a injury prone year for the
yeah,
whole league,
for
for
the
the
whole
whole
world.
every sport in in the
Yeah.
world. Every athlete in the world is getting
Hmm.
is tearing a hammy or an ACL
Yeah,
uh,
just
in the
playing too
past
many
6 months.
games, man.
It's what
And the
what
dude
you
their
do.
bodies just aren't used to it, but yeah, I don't expect it to get I expect it to get worse before it gets better in the short term, but I'm not hitting the panic button on anything. I think Eddie Howe's all right. I think we're just we're fucking injured. So um hopefully we can just kind of I think that we just need to get out of the Champions League and just focus solely on the league and getting as many points as we can before the new year, so we can get some of these dudes back and healthy.
Agreed.
But let's move on to the Aston Villa versus Fulham game. It's going to be a 3-1 win for Aston Villa. Um, I mean, this team is just on a roll, man. Early on, 27th minute, Douglas Luiz plays a great ball into Moussa Diaby, who is just probably one of the biggest threats in all of the Premier League this year. Um, I don't think Diaby got a touch on it, but Anthony Robinson did get a touch on it and deflects it into the goal. Unlucky for him. It wasn't like a terrible own goal or anything. Um, just accidentally got a bad touch on it.
Yeah.
And then just before half, John McGinn sends Paulinho for a hot dog and unleashes a low and very hard strike from outside the box to make it 2-0. Um, that John McGinn, he doesn't look like he would be. He's not the most athletic. He's not the best. He's not the most technical. He's not the fastest. Not the
He's the
strongest.
least flexible athlete
He's
in the
the
world.
least flexible for sure. The kid's hips are so tight, but god damn it, he can play ball, man. He can
Yeah.
play some ball.
I don't think his tailbone is ever unaligned with the back of his head either. Just stiff
Maybe he
all
got like his
across the board.
spine fused or something. He just looks like
That has
he's a
to be it.
board, man.
Who
But
was it that we were talking about that's their issue?
I think that might be him.
Is it him?
I'm
We
not
can edit
100.
this out, but that is
I don't know.
we're talking about it recent.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, not much for me on this one either. Aston Villa, they are invincible at home this year. Um, they've drawn a couple, maybe one or two, but haven't lost at home. And if it wasn't for, say, they beat Forest last week, instead of losing to them, like you'd expect, they'd be tied for first. They'd be second to Man City only on goal difference.
Wow. Yeah, I mean their offense has definitely been one of the best in the league.
That's unless they would have beaten Forest by 8 goals, then they'd be first.
Yeah. And this is a pretty good Fulham defense, man. Fulham usually isn't giving up a shit ton of goals. Leno's been really, really solid in goal. The back line's been good so far.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to matter for this Villa team. The third goal, McGinn does great to shield the ball. Just puts his butt on somebody. You're not getting it away from that guy when he puts his butt on you. Um, Plays an overlapping ball to Bailey, who just slings one into Watkins. Easy, easy goal. Beautiful play from them, man. Unai Emery's got them playing some of the best ball I think in the league. Um,
Yeah.
but second half, they definitely got outplayed in the second half by Fulham. Fulham came out on the front foot, created a bulk of the chances. Um, Great ball over the top to Anthony, and then he slides it over to Raul Jimenez, who gets his first goal for Fulham in the Premier League and his first Premier League goal in 18 months. So much, much needed for him, even though they lost. I'm sure it's good for him to. Sure, it's good for them to see him get on the board and everything, you know. Um, but yeah, Villa just dominated them. Even in the
Yeah.
second half, I don't think they controlled possession, but they dominated this team.
Villa.
They're really starting to look like maybe a top four team.
I guess top four. I don't. Yeah, but now that Tottenham's not clouding up the top four, Newcastle not clouding it up anymore.
I'd put them over us, right? I'd put them over us for damn sure, right? Even though we
Brighton's not
clapped their
clouding
ass
it up
5-1
anymore.
to start the year, we're so injured, man. I can't.
Yeah, I was
I just have to be realistic.
immediately I was shaking my head when you said Villa top four hopeful, but it's 100% on. Brighton,
I heard a
Brighton's
lot of
lo-
chatter about
Brighton's
it.
Brighton's winless in four of their last five, or Brighton's winless in all their last five.
Hmm.
They got 4 draws, 1 loss, so that's one team we had for sure up
Yeah.
there in the 5-6 range.
I think once Europe started, I think we talked about maybe when Europe started, Brighton might fall off just a little bit because they're not used to that. And I mean, you're seeing it now.
They fell off.
Hmm.
God. Yeah, so completely realistic right now, a third of the way through the season
Hmm.
for Villa to finish up
Yeah.
there. Fifth right now. They got Tottenham next week at the best time to play Tottenham all
Yep.
year.
Yep. Got Tottenham at a great time, just like Chelsea's getting Newcastle at the best time. Merry
Oh
Christmas.
man. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck. I
We
was.
did catch we did catch Tottenham at the worst time to catch Tottenham though, but then made them easy for everybody else.
Yeah.
And now we're catching Newcastle at the best time to catch them.
Dog
And then
shit,
right
man.
after that, we're catching Man United at the worst time to catch them. God, they're on such good form. I'm so scared. Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Let's move on to the Brighton versus Sheffield game. It's going to be a 1-1 draw here. I don't think anyone saw this one coming. Sheffield coming off their first win of the year, um, getting a precious point against Brighton, which I mean nobody saw coming. Brighton came out firing early though, and Ansu Fati had a chance within 3 minutes. There was well saved by Fleck, or no, not yeah, it was just well saved. I don't know who the goalkeeper was. And then Adingra scores maybe the goal of the season in the 6 minute, beats two defenders off the dribble, plays a perfect 1-2 off Buenanote to free himself up for the goal. It was almost prime Arsenal esque. Not as many passes, but man, beautiful, beautiful goal from Adingra. I don't know how. I think he's might still be a teenager, but he's definitely one to look out for Brighton this year, man. He's been tearing it up.
He Deserby Deserby actually benched João Pedro, their striker, and put Ansu Fati up at striker to make room for Adingra, and it kind of paid off. Even though, and then he also started the guy that assisted Adingra, the Buonanotte guy over Matoma. So
Hmm.
that questionable replacements right there
Yeah.
uh that resulted in a quick goal for Deserby. So
Yeah, I don't know why he would
eventually
choose to rotate. Um, I
Ansu
guess
Fati
because
up
they
top.
had European ball right before this game, but I don't know why he would rotate it right before the international break that much up top, at least.
Yeah, Adinger must have been on it in practice that
Yeah,
week, and he was on it coming right out the
he
game.
was he
So
was on it.
I mean, it worked out, and then they inevitably went back to they put João Pedro back at striker, they put Matoma back at left wing, and they continued to create chances, but it just the rest of the game didn't go their way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if barring that red card for Dahoud Mahmoud, I think they probably could have seen out the game 1-0 at the worst. Because I mean they were just dominating the ball, but once they got the red card, game completely changed. Sheffield in the first half, I mean they got shredded on that first goal, but other than that, Fodderingham in the back line did extremely well. Not letting a goal in after that. And then they had this Bogle kid come on, played a great ball in the middle that turned into an own goal off Adam Webster. But I mean, he was looking pretty threatening for him, so that could be something to look out for them in the coming games. I
Yeah,
don't know what his first name is, but it's something Bogle. Um, and then in the second half, especially after the red card, Sheffield was much better team. Um, and they had a few chances to try and win the game late, just tame efforts. But yeah, I think they'll definitely take the point. I don't think they were expecting it, but they definitely could have gone for the 3 points after that red card.
yeah, good fought for point for Sheffield. Puts them. Are they still?
I believe that
Yeah,
they're still
that
rock
put them
bottom.
18th. That put
It
them 18th with a
who's
point clear of Everton and Burnley down there.
Burnley is
Burnley's
rock
down
bottom.
there. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, last 2 weeks before the international break, massive for Sheffield, man. A win and a
And
draw.
Luton. Luton
Hmm.
getting a draw, well, a draw and a loss, but a draw. Like
Yeah, draw
two
against
draws in their
Liverpool.
last 4 games.
Draw
Two
against
points
Liverpool,
is
massive.
is 2 points is the difference in 17th and 20th right now.
Yeah,
So
Bournemouth finally kind of starting to show a little bit of life. Who knows, man?
yeah,
It's
Bournemouth,
looking like
Luton, and
it could maybe
Sheffield
be
all
pretty
coming alive.
interesting down there in the relegation fight, especially
Yeah.
with Everton
Who
getting this 10
knows?
point deduction. I mean, it's all in the air now.
Yeah, say Everton, they get a couple crucial injuries, this and that. Burnley never picks up. Sheffield
Yeah,
and Luton keep scrapping for a point here and there, and then you got like Fulham, Everton, and Burnley down there, or like Nottingham, Everton, and Burnley down there. It could actually get interesting.
it could get
Whereas
really interesting for sure.
after week 5 we were pretty much saying uh it's going to be the bottom 3 and maybe Everton. And then
Yeah,
after week 10 we were saying it's going to be the bottom 3.
yeah.
Now we just don't know.
Now
It's
it yeah
it changes
it
every
could be
week.
probably six or seven teams for sure.
Yeah.
Um, just depending on injuries, form, all that. Um,
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to the Liverpool versus Brentford game though. 3-0 win for Liverpool. I think they're starting to look like the best team in the league, to be honest, the most in form. Gakpo had a decent rip inside 3 minutes to get Liverpool on the front foot early, and then Darwin had two goals rolled out in the 22nd and 28th minute. Um, but I mean, you knew it was going to come, and once it did, they were all just going to come. Um, Soboslai played a great ball into Nunez, who laid it off Salah. I mean, just easy finish for Salah at this point um, for the first goal. And then came out in the second half. Simicast does well to reach ball before it went out and then crosses it to Salah for probably the easiest finish of his career. Completely unmarked on the back post. I don't think he moved for the header. I don't think he jumped at all. Just
Mm-mm.
kind of
His
nodded
feet
his
didn't
head
move
for
an
yeah, his
inch.
feet didn't move at all. Uh, Probably the easiest goal of his career. And then for the last one, Diego Jota does well to get the ball out in front of a defender and then just smashes it home from outside the box to make it 3-0. Um,
Yeah.
for Brentford, I thought Flecken had some really good saves inside 15 minutes. He had a fantastic game, 8 saves from him. Could have been definitely a lot worse. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
Brentford didn't have many
Yeah, Brentford,
chances.
they had 16 shots, but only 3 of them were legit.
Yeah,
But yeah, they didn't look like the worst football team in the world by any
yeah,
means. They could have gone 1-0 up in the 5th minute. but they were playing Liverpool, not Chelsea, so they didn't have to have their
Yeah.
killer instincts.
They
So
also had a good chance. Jensen played a ball over the top 10. It was literally perfect. Perfectly curved ball over the top 10, Blamo, right on his foot. He just couldn't
yeah,
get it past Allison.
yeah,
Great chance to get on the board, but yeah, if you're playing against any other team, it's almost certainly a goal. But Allison
yeah.
Becker still
Especially
plays
if you're playing
goalkeeper.
against Chelsea, then Brentford makes sure they have their killer instinct on. But
Yeah,
other than that, Mo Salah, a couple impressive. Mo Salah, we've been keeping track of this since it was 13. Now it's 15 home games in a row for Liverpool with either a goal or an assist. That's at least one of either or, and most of the time it's
both.
like today. This one he had 2 goals.
Yeah,
Most of the time it's one of
yeah,
each, one of one, two of another.
yeah.
But in the last 15, he gets at least one of each. And then Diogo Jota, 11 Premier League goals in his last 20 Premier League games.
Wow,
Very impressive.
wow. Might be time for him to really
Very
get a
impressive.
starting place in that team. That's very
Yeah. I
impressive.
mean, I've been really hard on that guy. And I know Luke has as well. You liked him from the very beginning.
Yeah, I like
And
Jota.
I mean, you like
He's
Jota a
he's
little bit, but
underperformed since he got to Liverpool, but I mean he's a damn good player, man. He's got some
you
power in
really
those little
liked
legs.
you really liked Luis Diaz, and then you thought Jota, you liked Jota too. You liked Jota a good
Yeah,
bit, but
I
me
like
and Luke were just
Diaz.
never big on either. I mean, they're quality
Mhm.
guys, honestly, but you
But they're
can
not what
put
Sadio Mane was.
exactly you
Yeah,
can put Diogo Jota's touch with Luis Diaz's speed, and it's still not Sadio Mane.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
No, I agree. I agree.
they deserve their own respect for their own effort. They're both pretty solid.
Yeah. Last little tidbit for me on this game, Brentford, even with their five back, I mean, it just got completely dominated and shredded by Liverpool. Um, had a decent bit of possession late and created a few chances, but they just couldn't outsmart Allison. And at that point, I mean, it was just the game was gone.
Yeah, classic Liverpool.
All right, let's move on to the West Ham versus Nottingham Forest game. 3-2 win for West Ham. Real back and forth game, really the whole game, trading goals. Started off pretty early. Montiel plays a ball off of Sangare's back, falls perfectly to Paqueta, who dribbles one person and then takes a beautiful rip on his left foot from outside the box to make it 1-0 inside 3 minutes. And then for Force, it took a little while to get going. Pretty even first half after that goal until Sangare wins the ball back in the midfield, threads a beautiful ball up to Gibbs White, who has a shot. I think it deflected off of Ariola's hand, and then it went perfectly to Awanyi for the first goal for them to make it 1-1 just before the half.
Yeah. Yeah, West Ham are kind of I was personally enjoying their misfortune of the last 6 weeks, considering how they
It's
started the year.
the fortune is
But
definitely back.
they're back to just giving it to James Ward-Prowse or Paqueta,
Dude, it's
throwing
insane.
it in there, and Jared Bowen comes in with his arms out and his eyes closed and just
Yeah.
heads it in somehow. They're back. They're back to that.
Yeah,
They're
it's
fully back.
literally this team is literally just they capitalize on other teams' fuck ups, like just passing the ball into the back of your own teammate
Yeah.
for the first goal, and then I mean it's the James Ward Prowse show. Like the Ayubs hype him up and all this bullshit, but like I mean yeah, like hits the corners are beautiful and everything, but it's just like dude, like
It's like if that guy can do that, why it doesn't make sense why there's not a player on every Premier League team that can put it where it
it's
needs
just
to be
there
though,
for
like
like
that guy.
he can be. They're beautiful corners, but it's just like man, like
How is everybody not able to do that?
you got to be when you're playing against West Ham. Your defense, like everyone, you're so focused in practice the week before should be just fucking marking on set pieces. Where's my guy? I need like just that's all you need to focus on because that's the biggest threat on the team by far. Him on set
Yeah,
pieces is insane.
yeah, and
It's it's always a perfect ball.
maybe have a stick a defensive mid on Jared Bowen, even though
I don't know how you let
when he does score it
5'9"
when he does score, nobody is stopping it. He literally comes flying in the box at 90 miles an hour for all of his 8 goals this year, however many
Yeah.
he has.
I don't know
Like,
how they let him score a header in the box. He's all but 5'9", probably. Just
yeah,
completely unmarked. Beautiful. I mean, the ball it ducks right in there on his head, perfectly in between all the Forest players.
every
Um,
time.
yeah, you can't say enough about how good James Ward Prowse just put the whole team in his fucking backpack and brought him to this win. Um, but yeah, after the second West Ham goal, the first James Ward Prowse corner to Jared Bowen, the momentum of the whole game really just switched. Um, Forrest had came out of half, um, and Ina did great to play a ball past Emerson, and Elanga slots it into the far corner. Really, really good finish for Elanga. He really deserved it in this game. He was playing his ass off. Um, but yeah, it just wasn't enough in the end. After the James Ward-Prowse to Bowen corner, the whole momentum of the game shift, and West Ham was just on their ass the whole rest of the game. Um, we had a Divock Origi sighting at the end of the
Yep.
game for Nottingham Forest, first one that
Had
I've
a
seen this year.
Didn't he
He
have
had
a
a
rocket at
he had
the
a
end of the
rocket.
game?
He had a rocket, but
It got
it
it kind of
was a little
too
bit. It was
close
like
to the
right at
keeper.
areola, but like a little bit above him. But I mean, it was a rocket. It definitely had a chance. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but definitely good to see him. That's a player that you love to see.
Yeah,
Love to see
good
him back in the
nostalgia in
Prem.
that guy. Yeah.
But you got anything else on that game?
Nah, just JWP. Just that's a
JWP.
guy that gets he does what he gets paid to do.
Yeah, I got a note here.
He does it.
JWP is single-handedly keeping West Ham in games.
Yep.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move on to the game of the week, maybe the game of the year. By far, probably by far the best game that I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Chelsea versus Man City, 4-4 draw. What you got, Mr. Miguez? What you got?
Oh, it's just it's only 1 point, but it it
It should have
makes you
been
just
three.
it could have should have been 3, could have. But at the end of the day, it's only +1. But somehow it just makes you just sigh relief. Just
Hmm.
everything, all the pressure's just leaving, and you just actually get to enjoy
Yeah.
something. It's
You've got
pretty
to have a
cool.
good bit of confidence in the team going forward now. I mean, a lot more
Oh
than you did
yeah,
before.
yeah,
That's that's massive. It is a draw against
yeah,
Man City, but like it feels like a win, especially coming off. I mean, you're coming off the Spurs win, but it didn't look good at all. But it was a
yeah,
great win, great 3 points, and then to play as well as y'all did,
yeah,
especially not even just
yeah,
getting the point, to play as well as y'all did, man.
yeah,
Y'all went toe to toe with City, and I think looked much better. I think
yeah.
looked much better and
Every
deserved to win.
Yeah, it doesn't expose City because
Mm-mm.
City's worst game without their worst player, not worst game. They played pretty decent. And
Worst game without their best player, yeah.
without their best player, just shows that it's possible. Um, and then you just have to give credit to. I mean, every single person on Chelsea's starting 11 did their job.
They really
Um,
did.
and then you just have to give credit to a couple people that did more than what they're asked to do. For one, Conor Gallagher
Oh,
was
great game
just
from him.
everywhere. I would hate Conor Gallagher right now if I was involved with City in any way, because where they could not get away with him, get away from him. Any corner of the ball, any corner of the field that they had it, he was right there pressing the shit out of somebody, just
Yeah.
clawing up the
He's
back of their
really been the engine of
calves.
that team in the midfield, man.
Oh
He
yeah.
hasn't been the best, but man, he'll fucking run around and put a tackle in. I love it.
Yeah, Conor Gallagher, you gotta give a lot of praise to. Raheem
Mhm.
Sterling played like he played like a top 3 player in the world. Like
Re- I've
he played so fucking
I'm
good.
usually not on the Raheem train. I have not. That was a man possessed. That
That was
man was
not Raheem
pissed off.
Sterling.
Southgate must have been in the stands.
He
There's
played like
that man's was on fire. I have a note right here. It says Raheem the Dream Sterling was cooking,
looked like
absolutely cooking.
he looked like prime Hazard, like
The
all game.
we'll have to put if we can find the little clip of him saucing. I think he megs
Kyle
Doku.
Walker,
He megs Doku, and then
Megs Doku
he megs
first.
Rodri, and then he drops Kyle Walker.
Yeah,
I, I absolutely a man possessed. Maybe the best individual performance that I've seen this year. You can say Doku was 1 goal and 4 assists against like a Sheffield. I don't even know who they fucking play. I think it was Sheffield. This was biggest game under the biggest lights. Raheem Sterling put on, man. I got to give it to him.
against your
Got to
ex
give it to him.
team. Yeah, and then
The goal celebration on that first goal too. Too small.
yeah, too small. And then he kind of
That's
stopped.
ice cold, bro. That
Yeah,
is ice cold.
coming from the smallest dude in the league.
That's so ice cold. First goal against City
Yeah,
since he joined Chelsea and he celebrates.
yeah. And then I
um,
I I gotta touch on Cole Palmer. I'm not gonna go too deep on him, but if you really watch him, not watching for him to fuck up, I bet if you watch just to watch him fuck up, it's probably irritating to watch. I bet if you just watch him, just to watch him,
mhm.
he'll impress you.
Oh,
Like he
dude, by far. I think I said it to you while we were watching it, man. He every time he got on the ball, he
every
looked a
single
threat.
time he gets on the
He
ball.
looks a threat. He's doing the right thing with it. He's progressing it. What a player, man. What
Yeah.
a player.
And then the
Um,
last guy I definitely want to give some shouts to is Reece James. If he, golly, man, if
man,
he
that he
were,
had a free kick chance in the 27th minute that was nasty, and it was
yeah,
a great save by Ederson.
yeah, if he had the solidity of like a Kyle Walker or whoever, God, he would
He
be
could
the
stay as
best right
healthy.
back. He'd be the best right back
I
in the
think,
league.
yeah,
Just
I maybe the world.
nobody would say anything about it. Nobody
I,
would ever argue. He
I, if he could stay healthy consistently, he'd be the best right back in the world.
Yeah, yeah,
He
and you
he
wouldn't
looks
be able to
so
argue.
good. He
Every
looks
time he
so good
plays,
going
he's
forward.
so good. The only thing is that he sometimes he does not play. He's hurt. That every time he plays, he is like the almost the best player on the field.
Yeah,
If he just gets the ball enough, he'll
yeah,
be the best player on the field that game.
yeah. The only bad
He's
thing that
so
you could say
good.
about him is that he can't stay healthy. That's the only thing
The
that you can
only
say on
thing.
Reece James,
Every
man. He's
game he has played since he's
brilliant
been
player.
like at least whatever 21. He's 23 now.
Hmm.
For the past 2 years, every game that he has played, he's been arguably the best player in that game.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, I
crazy.
agree.
He's such a
Um,
difference maker.
the first goal for City, though, I wanted to touch on that. I thought that it was a baby shit, Charmin soft goal. Um, Holland is tugging on Cucurella's jersey the whole entire fucking time. And then as
Yeah.
soon as he starts to run to the ball, he wants to let go of him. And Cucurella, obviously, Cucurella's going to hang on to him because he's pushing off of him. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I have no clue what you want Cucurella to do in that situation. You just give City a free goal to start the fucking game, which they don't
Yeah.
need.
As if they
As if they
needed it.
need it. Like Holland is almost twice as big as Cucurella and probably
Yeah.
almost like 50 pounds fucking heavier than him. He's
Oh
probably
yeah.
gonna manhandle him around a little bit. If Cucurella pulls his jersey a little bit and Buddy goes down, that's bullshit to me.
Yeah.
That's such
Cucurella was doing
bullshit to me.
nothing more than what Holland was doing to him.
There's nothing that Cucurella could do in, in his being to take Holland and put him on the ground. Actually put him on the there's nothing that he could do. There's
Yeah.
nothing that he could do to move that dude.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they give him the penalty. Um, and then Chelsea comes right back down the field. Great corner, great short corner by Gallagher to Thiago Silva. Directs it across the goal.
Yep.
Um,
Fourth goal for Thiago Silva for Chelsea. And they've all been
oldest
huge.
oldest player to
Oldest
score
Premier
in the
League
Premier League.
oldest Premier League
Yeah,
scorer
yeah.
at
And then
39.
Chelsea actually took the lead in the 37th minute. Reece James just beautiful glides past in between two dudes, plays the ball over to Raheem, easy tap in. And it looked like they were going to go into half with the lead. And yeah, Bernardo plays a great cross into Akanji, and then he gets a free header. Sanchez slipped on it. So I mean, even I don't know if he would have saved it even if he didn't slip. But yeah, it goes into halftime 2-2. And then
And
City
then
come right out of half. Right out of half. I mean, they love just 46th, 47th minute coming right out of half. Alvarez plays a good ball into Holland's nutsack for the third goal. And then 67th minute, Chelsea levels again. Gallagher starts a great counterattack and gets the ball back, rips a fucking heater at the goalkeeper, and it deflects right to Nicholas Jackson, and he makes it 3-3. And then for the last goal, they gave Holland credit for an assist here, which is bullshit, but it just kind of deflects around, and then Rodri just smashes it bottom left, I think, which is just, Rodri can just pull a fucking howitzer out of his back pocket if he needs to when needed.
only when absolutely
Yeah.
needed.
And then late into extra time, Broha gets taken down by Diaz in the box. Obvious penalty. And then ice cold Cole Palmer comes up and just cool as you absolutely like buries it for Chelsea to get the draw. Yeah, like I said, I think game of the year.
Yeah. Ederson went the right way on that. He guessed the right way on that Cole Palmer penalty and still didn't come too close.
Yeah, he doesn't practice those.
He
He doesn't practice those.
Doesn't need. He just trusts his
And yeah,
quality at that point.
He just trusts his ability. Ice cold for Mr. Jermaine Palmer.
Yeah. Couldn't feel any better going into Newcastle.
Fuck y'all, man. I couldn't feel any worse.
Maybe if we had Nkunku. Maybe
2
if
weeks
we had
ago, 2 weeks ago, I was so excited to play Chelsea, bro. I was talking my shit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying a word now, man. I'm not looking forward to it, but
maybe if we had Nkunku and Lavia, they're both like almost ready. They both got like a week or two left. It's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna roll them out.
Thank God.
Yeah, you don't want to see those
Thank
guys.
God.
Either. Yeah,
get them before those fuckers get back.
If Nkunku doesn't get right back fucking injured, we're going to finish top 5.
I could see it, man. Especially
and we need Reece James to stay healthy too.
This newfound form is something else.
Yeah.
If Reece James can stay, then we've got a good chance.
Reece James and Nkunku stay healthy. Anything else can happen.
The young talent that y'all have on this team is, I don't think there's not another team in the world that can compare to that with just the potential.
Yeah.
The potential
maybe Real Madrid.
Is insane. Yeah, maybe Real Madrid, but I don't know. That's tight.
Yeah, I mean, apart from their 40-year-olds, they're all 21, 22. But yeah.
All righty, let's move on to the middle segments. We'll start with the Week 11 Player of the Week and Stinker of the Week. I think we have the same Player of the Week and Stinker of the Week for this week. It's going to be Doku, 1 goal, 4 assists for Player of the Week. Unplayable, completely unplayable. And then it'll be Darwin Nunez. He doesn't score easy goals. He only scores hard goals, you do have to respect just a little bit. But man, if he added those easy goals to his game, he'd be a motherfucker. Yeah.
This is why when I said at probably the first or second week of doing this, that Darwin is going to have the most combined player and stinkers of the week.
Yeah.
He's got about.
I think he's got like 2 of each. Yeah, I think he's got 2 of each.
Yeah, monster. Darwin.
Let's move on to the Player of the Week 12 and Stinker of the Week 12. My Player of the Week is going to be Pablo Sarabia for Wolves. Subs on in the 87th minute and gets a goal and an assist for Wolves to win the game for him. Could be a good little substitution for Pedro Neto since he's out. Who knows, man? He looked damn good. So Player of the Week for him.
He looked solid. And then appreciate you leaving me Raheem, even though you did already give him his flowers, say that this might be the best performance all year. It might have been. It's
his best performance in darker blue. That's for damn sure.
He looked like Hazard. He looked like Black Hazard. He
really did, man. Really I have not.
We used to have that shit every week.
Yeah.
Now it's only when Raheem feels
if
like
he could. Why can't he do that every week though? You know what I mean? Like he can do it
Just when he
against those
feels like it.
lower level clubs, but like I want to see him when he gets on the when he was getting on the ball against City. Everything that he was doing was had a purpose. You know, he was
Direct.
yeah, it was he was going right at him. It looked like old Raheem Sterling, and
Yep.
hopefully he can keep this confidence and that fire in him, and hopefully he doesn't have it in him against Newcastle, but the games after that, hopefully he's got that fire in him.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good. This is when you like a streaky Raheem as a
Yeah,
Newcastle fan.
and then stinker of the week. I've actually got two guys. My first one is going to be Mr. Alejandro Garnacho. Um, he wasn't like just complete dog shit. Like he did do some good things with the ball, but like anytime that he went to make a pass or like shoot, it was just dog shit. In
Yeah.
my opinion, it was just terrible. He put like 5 yards over the crossbar.
Yeah. You can just tell he grew up really just caring about dribbling and not really caring about passing or
Yeah,
anything
he
like
grew up
that.
watching a lot of Ronaldo at Man United.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't really give a fuck to make a successful pass. It's not
I
going to be him that gets the ball after that, so he
I
doesn't care.
I feel like I might be being a little bit too harsh on. I might be being a little bit too harsh on him, but if you're gonna move Rashford over to the right side and you're just gonna be starting from Man United, like, dude, I need one shot on frame, like
Yeah.
one, even if it's right at the keeper. That's what everybody else on your team is. Just do that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Just do that. And then my second one, is Mr. Serginho Dest. Um, great, fucking beautiful first game when we went and saw you in Austin, brother. But genuinely, what the absolute fuck is going on? If you watched it, you saw it. If you didn't, then you'll just have to look it up. But I've never seen anything like this on a. The only thing that I can compare this to is Antonio Brown fucking stripping down almost naked and walking off of out of the Patriots game against the Jets. That's the only thing close that I can think of.
Losing
Absolute
your
pain.
noggin
I've
for fun.
never seen anything like that.
Yeah. Losing your fucking head just
Yeah.
for the fuck of it
But
against
congrats to the
Trinidad.
boys for making it into the Copa America. Even though we lost to Trinidad and Tobago 2-1, absolute bullshit. We should fire Greg Berhalter. We're going to Copa America.
Yep. Yep. I think my stinker, I just gave it to the whole Tottenham back line. That two, it feels harsh, but I mean, there were two really like pretty good goals that happened bam, bam, quick. But like, you got to be like, you got to be like really it's got to be so intense, like you have to make it harder than that. You have to be on your
Yeah.
toes. You have to
Yeah.
be ready for fucking, I mean,
Dyer.
it's the end of the game. They're gonna send everything right at you. You gotta at least look ready for it. They just they're solid all game, and then
Yeah.
golly, just
You'd
fucking
think Dyer and Davies would be able to lock in for a full like 90 plus 5 sitting on the bench all year, but man, that extra time hits and them boys clocked out.
fuck yeah, and fucking what's his name? Sarabia clocked
Yeah.
in or
Clocked
whatever his
in.
name is.
Clocked the fuck Pablo Sarabia. Clocked the fuck in.
Yeah.
Uh all right. Just wanted to touch briefly on the whole Everton point deduction thing, just in case whoever's watching doesn't know. Everton had one FFP charge against them, and they basically pled guilty. So that's why the charge came so early. Minus 10 points for one charge. Man City has 115 of these motherfuckers. So there's really no telling when or if Man City will be deducted anything. It'll probably take years to get it all sorted out because City's not doing anything to help them and they're maintaining their innocence. So it'll all go to court. But yeah, massive for Everton. And also Chelsea is getting involved. I think there was something about maybe Abramovich making payments to some players that were already on the team.
Yeah.
Just giving it like Hazard and some other dudes giving them bonuses, a little bit, a few million extra. I don't see
Yeah.
anything wrong with that.
I mean, it's there's not even any legal charges officially pressed on Chelsea. Man City has 115 legal charges
from the Premier League
pressed.
officially pressed against them.
Officially
Yes,
pressed that they're going to have to.
they're being charged with them.
They're gonna have to
They're going to go to
legally
court and have to talk.
battle these charges legally, but
And what does that look like? That's 1,150 points. I'm pretty sure, right?
yeah, if
Or
you
am
do
I
it on the
dumb?
same scale as Everton, that's a
Uh,
1,150
you're
points.
playing Sunday league ball now.
Yeah,
In the past, I know that City's gotten off the chain, especially with UEFA. Them and PSG got off the hook in the past, but yeah, it just doesn't really seem fair to Everton, in my opinion. They did
yeah,
plead guilty to the. So I mean, they admitted that. I'd watched a podcast that broke it all down. They had made an agreement with the Premier League a few years ago that, like, hey, like, we're in this shit position financially. If we do these things, can you help us out? And the Premier League agreed to those things, and Everton basically just they knew that they were risking a lot, and they were risking this by going out and still continuing to buy players at the rate that they did, but they just continued to do it anyway. Um, so yeah, they're reaping what they sowed right now. It doesn't seem as fair because Man City has all these charges against them, but um, hopefully the justice process plays out good, and City is playing Sunday League ball in a few years.
yeah.
So
Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, and Micah Richards have a podcast, and they had that FFP expert on
that's a
who
great,
said,
great, great episode. Definitely
yeah,
recommend it.
who said, that we should expect something as early as this next summer after this season.
Yeah, probably
As
for Man
far as,
City.
yeah,
But they also talked about how, this is the best time that it could have happened for Everton this early into the season, the position that they were in, how many points that they had. It couldn't have come at a better time. It could, if it would have came later in the season, it's pretty much a death sentence. But at
yeah.
least at this point, they know what they have to do to get where they need to be.
Came at a great time for them. They had gotten all 10 of those points in the last 5 games they played.
Um,
They
my
wouldn't have had those
Newcastle,
10 points to give up if it was a couple weeks earlier.
my Newcastle will for sure be sticking to the FFP rules very strictly from now on. We want no business with this -10 bullshit. All right, let's move
That
on
would,
to the. Wait,
that would put Newcastle 16th. No, 16th. 16th.
be all right. We got Eddie Howe in this front office, man.
But that'd be
We're not
fine.
going anywhere.
Yeah, that's fine.
That would fucking suck, though. All righty, let's move on to top 5 players in the world in this current moment. I'm just gonna rattle through mine. Number 1, Jude Bellingham. No explanation. No explanation. Number 2, I've actually got Harold Kane. I think Harry Kane's got a great shout to maybe win a Ballon. I think it's going to be between him and Jude for the Ballon d'Or. I mean, he's playing in Germany, but god damn, he's scoring goals at an insane rate. Absolutely, I think it's at like 22 and 11 or some bullshit.
Yeah, 22 goals in 11 games.
Insane. That's not even all of his goal contributions. I don't think.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm going to go James Madison.
Oof.
Yeah, I think you can see, especially last week with how Tottenham looked
He's hurt.
with their. Yeah, I get that he's hurt, but I still at this current moment, James Madison's still number 3. I think what you can't discredit what he's done so far. And he had that Tottenham team looking so good, man. If he can get back soon, then I think that Tottenham still got a good shot to finish top 4, maybe even maybe make a little run at it. Number 4, I'm gonna go Mo Salah. Just the perennial. He could be number 1 on this list, and it really wouldn't make a shit. Just an amazing player. And then number 5, I'm going to go Florian Wirtz for Bayer Leverkusen. Got him out to a undefeated start so far this year, and he's really the engine and the creativity behind it in the midfield. So yeah, I got him at 5.
Yeah. I know these discussions were built for recency bias, built to give recency bias whenever it's usually not welcomed.
Did you go current moment?
I went how I always do. I hate recency bias. And it's just I don't know.
I thought you were gonna maybe have Raheem number 1.
Oh no, I went opposite. I hate recency bias. But okay. And I would have James Madison if he wasn't hurt right this second. If he wasn't hurt, I would have him probably maybe around 3rd like you did. But I went Salah number 1,
Yeah, yeah. You can
I
have
just
solid number one. It doesn't
I
matter.
went like last like 3 months and like
Yeah.
who you want on your team for the next like 3 months. That's kind of how I went. And so I have Mbappe too. I still want Mbappe over pretty much everybody else
Mbappe
in the
did make.
world that's not Salah.
I'll probably switch James Madison for Mbappe because he's hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then I do have Holland 3.
Wow.
He's
Wow. He went
I
quiet there for a little bit.
yeah, he did, but I mean, he's I don't I Holland is one of those guys that I don't see being affected by any outside form, anything like form, nothing like that could affect
Hmm.
him. I just think he's that solid. 4, I went Harry Kane. And then fifth, I thought I was gonna get the tomatoes thrown at me, so I put Jude. In parentheses, I put Sabasly. And I'm gonna leave it at
Oh,
that.
wow.
I'll leave it at that. I put Jude in
Wow.
parentheses, Dominique Sabasly. No,
Wow.
and
I don't
no
mind the solo
explanation.
slide shout, but over Jude, I don't know, man.
No, it's
Jude's got to
Jude.
be on
It
that.
is
Jude's got to
Jude.
be on that list, man.
It's Jude.
Belly goal, Jude.
Yeah. No, it's Jude.
Alrighty, let's move on to our game week 13 predictions. Uh, the early game this week is going to be Man City versus Liverpool. I'm definitely going to be up at 6:45 this weekend. Uh, yeah, 6:45 on a Saturday. I think it's on a Saturday. I will be up. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think they're chirping right now.
2-1 Liverpool. That is what Luke did. I went 3-3, and Adam went 2-2.
3-3. That's a
Yeah.
barn burner right there, son.
Oh yeah.
Holy. Alrighty, let's move on to Burnley versus West Ham. I'm gonna go 3-0 West Ham. Sorry, Holmes said Burnley.
Yeah, 3-0 West Ham.
That team's
I
not
went
winning.
2-0 West Ham. Luke went 2-1 West Ham, and Adam went 2-1 Burnley,
Not giving up hope just yet.
as he does.
Alrighty, let's go to Luton Town versus Crystal Palace. I'm gonna go 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw, as did Luke.
Luton
I
are just
went I went 2-1 Crystal. Adam went 0-0.
me and Luke are just on the same brainly, man. Same
Yeah, it
wavelength.
looks like it. Let's see
Didn't
if
even
y'all
look at
are
his
this one.
before.
Y'all were on the same one this one, and then
No,
you
yeah, I
switched.
switched up. So Newcastle versus Chelsea. I was 2-2 Newcastle because you never like to bet on your team to lose, but I'm gonna go 3-1 Chelsea. Just, I mean, we're missing 14 players going into this game, and 14 dudes that like genuinely we could very much use. Um,
Yeah.
not bench players. These are not bench players. So yeah, 3-1 Chelsea with a
Adam
heavy
and Luke
heart.
both went. Adam and Luke both went with draws. Adam said a scoreless draw. Luke said 2 goals apiece. I went 2-0 Chelsea.
Fair. Nottingham Forest versus Brighton. I'm gonna go 2-1 Brighton. I think they get back to their winning ways.
2-1 Brighton. Same thing as me and Adam, and Luke had the same thing without a Nottingham Forest goal at all. 2-0.
All right. Let's move to the Sheffield Bournemouth game. This might be I feel like these teams have played like 4 times this year already.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go 1-0 Bournemouth.
Yeah. 1-0 Bournemouth again.
Yeah.
Uh Adam went 1-0 Sheffield.
Wow. Yeah, they're on
And me and
form.
Luke
They're on
me
form.
and
Winning
Luke
and drawing
both
the
went
last 2.
1-1.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
These guys are on Sheffield.
I could be
Brentford.
I could be a difference maker for Adam and y'all.
Obviously, I had to bet on Bournemouth. I had to choose Bournemouth because they shit on us last week. So,
Yeah.
Brentford versus Arsenal. I'm gonna go 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal.
Luke's gonna be torn on this one.
Yeah, Luke went 2-2. He was torn.
Yeah.
Adam Adam
Couldn't
went
choose one.
Adam went 2-1 Arsenal. I went 2-0 Arsenal. Yeah, Luke went
Ready?
2-2 Bees.
All right, we move on to Tottenham versus Aston Villa. I'm gonna go 4-2 Villa. I think there's just no stopping this offense that they've got, and Yeah, I don't. Romero might. I think Romero will be back for this game, but you're still gonna have Dyer or Davies out there, so I think it's easy for Villa.
Yep. Let's see. I went 2-1 Villa. It's just gonna keep getting good for Villa and keep getting worse for Tottenham. Adam went 2-1. Sorry, Adam went 2-2.
Oh
Luke
wow,
went 2-1 Tottenham.
wow, wow! That'd be
Yeah.
much needed right there, man.
Yeah, crazy needed.
Alrighty, let's move on to Everton versus Man United. Everton at home. Give me 2-0 Everton. Fucking book
Wow.
it. That place is gonna. Those players are gonna be so up for this game. I feel so bad for United getting them the first game after that point deduction at home. It's gonna be an insane environment. I think that Everton easily 2-0.
Man,
And
Adam
that's not
agreed
taken
with you.
away from United, but that Everton, they're gonna come out so ready to go, dog. They're gonna be
Adam
pissed
agreed
off.
with you.
Someone
And
just
I'm
pissed on
I'm
their
re-
Cheerios.
I'm regretting not thinking all that through because I went 1-1. And Luke, let's see, Luke went 1-0 Everton, and you and Adam went 2-0 Everton.
Wow, man,
So come
everybody's
on,
on
United, give
Everton.
me a draw here. Make a
Everybody's on
difference here.
Everton. Yeah,
There you
dude,
go, guys. Can I believe? There's a little bit of belief.
they're gonna come out with such a dog in them. I'm scared of this Everton team, man. Going forward this year, I don't want to play this team. I don't.
Yep.
They're gonna be pissed off the rest of this year. They're gonna feel slighted, and I think that puts a big chip on their shoulder.
I don't want to play Everton.
All right.
I'm not.
Fulham versus Wolves is our last game. I think it's the Monday game. 1-1 for
You went
me.
1-1.
1-1.
Oh, everybody else went 1-1.
Ah.
Let's go.
Yeah, you know that Fulham team don't like to get scored on a lot, but that Wolves team's gonna push one in somewhere.
Yeah, push one
That
in.
Heechan or Sarabia, man, that Sarabia is gonna be
Yeah.
Pedro Neto. What I'm hearing.
Yeah, with Pedro Neto, they be pushing two or three in, but now they're still gonna push one in because they're Wolves. They're Wolves, and they still have Heechan.
All righty. That'll do it for us on episode 11-12 of Yankin My Ball. We appreciate y'all hanging in there for the week off, and we'll see y'all next week.